Now today we're going to be checking out a brand new bike here up on the channel by Velotric. This is the Thunder 1 ST. Now I've reviewed several bikes from Velotric such as the Nomad and the Discover, both in high step and step through on both those bikes. With that being said, this is their newest iteration. They're going from cadence sensor to a new torque sensor setup here on this bike, an internal battery, Find My for the iOS devices, as well as fingerprint readers. Let's get into it, but first, let's hit the trail real quick to give you guys a full-on breakdown of what this bike is all about. Now let me give you guys a quick rundown of what this bike has to offer before we get into all the details and specs. This is a Class 1 e-bike that has a top speed of 20 miles per hour that uses 5 pedal assist levels on a torque sensor. It has 2170 Tesla grade cells that give you a range up of 52 miles, all while weighing 36 pounds in total. Now let's break down the unboxing experience. The Thunder 1 ST comes very well packaged, and on the outside of the box you'll see an Apple Find My decal letting you know the bike has Find My technology built in so you can track your bike on your iOS device. On the top of the box it explains how the Find My technology works on all iOS devices, just in case you're unfamiliar. So when you first open the box you'll notice that everything is very well packaged and very tightly fit to where there's not going to be any rattling or possibilities of scratching, denting, or any damage to your bike. In my opinion, this is one of the best brands when it comes to packaging a bike. Of all 4 bikes I've reviewed, none of them came damaged by shipping thanks to the attention to detail and caring when it comes to packaging up the bikes. Now when I build a bike out of the box, I always start with cutting the corners of the box and laying that section down so I can access the bike and build it within that area. These bikes are already 95% built and are very minimal when it comes to the building process. Next you'll be greeted with 2 boxes. One of them will have the charger and the other one will have the owner's manual, tool bag with all the necessary tools to build the bike, kickstand, bell, phone mount, headlight, taillight, and pedals. Now one thing that makes this bike an absolute breeze to put together is the through axle. You can literally put this on one-handed as you see here, and after that all you have to do is some simple adjustments with the brakes as well as install the accessories and you're good to go. Now before we get into the juicy details of this bike, let me talk to you a little bit about Find My and what it's capable of. Find My is a feature that Apple allows you to use your iOS device to track Apple products, and now that same technology is offered into the Thunder 1 ST. Now with this feature, it'll allow you to locate your bike via the app, play a sound when you're looking for it, and enable lost mode, which allows you to receive notifications when your bike is found. Now, let me show you how to set it up. The setup is really easy. Make sure your bike is powered on and open up the Find My app. Select the plus sign and add new item. It'll notify you that it's searching for items, and at that time you want to make sure you're holding down the power button for 10 seconds or until you hear the chime. Now that your bike is connected, you want to select an emoji, then click agree to the Find My terms and you're good to go. Now let's take a deep dive into the specs. The Thunder 1 ST is a solid build and has some of my favorite features in an urban style bike. Starting with the frame. The frame is made of 6061 aluminum alloy with integrated cable routing, internal battery, and tapered head tube. The same design scheme flows into the fork as well. It's made out of 6061 aluminum alloy with internal brake routing, through axle, and a tapered steer tube. Now the internal routing system of this bike gives it that stealthy feel, and I absolutely love the overall look of this bike. But it's not just about look, it's about feel. This bike is sized up to fit riders between 5 foot and 5'6", and 5'3" and 6'1". Moving on to the electronics of this bike. Let's first start off with the motor. It's a proprietary 350 watt motor with a max output of 600 watts, with 45 Newton meters of torque. Velotric claims that this is a smaller and quieter 350 watt motor than anything on the market, and this is something that I can back them up on. It is very quiet. Now let's talk about the battery. This bike has an internal battery built into the bottom tube of the frame, which keeps the sleek design. It's a 36 volt 9.8 amp hour battery pack that is Tesla grade with 2170 cells. Next is the control panel. It's built into the top tube of the bike and continues that sleek theme throughout the entire bike. You gain access to powering on the bike, turning on Find My, and going through all of your pedal assist levels. There's also a decal on the top tube right below it to help you recognize what pedal assist level you're in. The second set of controls is on the left side of the handlebar that gives you access to the same pedal assist levels as well as your headlight. Now, as I said earlier, this bike is on a torque sensor and not a cadence sensor. There is a big difference between not only the feel, but the performance of both of these. Now let's talk a little bit about the differences between a torque sensor versus a cadence sensor. And if you have the ability to be able to ride both these before you make a purchase, I highly recommend it because they perform way differently. And it kind of depends on your riding style as well. So with that being said, a cadence sensor is built in to the crank itself. So as you pedal about 3/4 of the way around, it'll engage and propel you forward. Now a torque sensor is built into the bottom bracket, and as you put pressure on the pedal, it already is ready to engage. So when you let off that brake, you're ready to go. Now depending on the bike, it will depend on the setup, but this has several different levels when it comes to power, so be ready to fly. Now moving on to the headlight and taillight. Both of these are adjustable and sleek and integrated to go along with the design theme of this bike while also keeping you very seen on the road. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Thunder One ST is a Class 1 e-bike with a top speed of 20 miles per hour, which you can actually go faster the harder you pedal. It has a range of 52 miles that you can go through all 5 pedal assist levels, ranging from Eco, Tour, Normal, Sport, and Turbo. Now, you're able to casually reach that speed of 20 miles per hour or even go faster than that with the drivetrain that's on this bike. It comes with a 42-tooth chain ring attached to a set of aluminum alloy 165mm cranks that has an 8-speed cassette, a Shimano Altus derailleur, and Shimano Altus rapid fire shifters. As we move to the cockpit, you're greeted with a set of 6061 aluminum alloy handlebars that are 30mm in rise, 6 degrees in back sweep, 30 degrees in up sweep, and 680mm wide. The grip is Velotric's ergonomically comfort grips that are customized and proprietary to all of their bikes as well as their saddle. The phone mount that we talked about earlier attaches to the phone as you see here and allows you to be able to lock and unlock it off of the stem itself and use it as a speedometer or other tracking devices to be able to track your ride. The wheels in this bike are 700C and come with CST puncture resistant tires, Textro HD hydraulic disc brakes with 160mm rotors front and rear. Let's talk a little bit about the braking power. So usually Class 1 e-bikes come with mechanical disc brakes. This one comes with hydraulic disc brakes like I mentioned, as well as 160mm rotors. This bike has a top speed of 20 miles per hour, but with your pedal power, you can go well over 20 miles per hour. So these hydraulic disc brakes really need to be put to the test. Let's do it right now. So there's the camera setup right there. That test was pretty good. I had it set up on turbo mode and you can see my skid is actually pretty short for what it is. So when I'm doing tests like this, I slam on the rear brake and I feather the front brake as hard as I possibly can without necessarily slamming it on. That's what you saw there in the video. The front wheel is still consistently moving, almost like anti-lock brakes, because if you slam on both brakes at the exact same time, you'll go over the handlebars and it is not a fun feeling. Pretty much you'll end your entire ride for the day. So a little food for thought. So in summary, the Thunder One comes in 2 models, the Thunder One and the Thunder One ST. The Thunder One comes in frozen blue and crystal black and comes with smart app capabilities, along with fingerprint reader. The Thunder One ST that was featured here today comes in lava and sand and has Apple Find My capabilities. Both these bikes come with the all-new E35 torque sensor that rides like a dream. Now, it's really been a joy riding the Velotric Thunder One ST all week, and honestly, I find myself gravitating more towards it because it has a torque sensor, and it's really hard to explain unless you ride bikes with torque sensors. It's just a different experience all around. If you have the chance to be able to ride either a torque and a cadence to kind of get a comparison, I definitely recommend you do so. If you have any questions about the Thunder One ST, put them in the comments below and check the links in the description below to be able to check out more of the Velotric lineup. So with that being said, any other suggestions for future videos, put them in the comments below. If you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.